start off this morning or this evening with the State of the District address. So I will just take about 15 minutes to talk through 3 core items. Our focus plan, which is our strategic plan. I'll provide an update on how we're doing on our 2 main goals. We'll talk about some recent successes to celebrate in our district, and then just a glance at the vision for the future. Our focus plan, which is commonly referred to as a strategic plan in many districts, our focus plan really guides our work. This was developed primarily during the 2010 school year. It was adopted by the school board in January of 2011, and this plan we're really proud of because it guides what we do. Nearly everything we do in this district is linked to the focus plan. It's really our vision and mission. It's our purpose and our passion. And in developing this focus plan, we had well over 100 people involved. In fact, every staff member had the opportunity to be involved, so it was probably closer to 400 staff members and community members involved in its development. The focus plan has 2 main goals. One of them is related to academic achievement and engaging 21st century learning. The other goal is about supportive environment and whole child development. So the academic goal, how are we doing? And I've just chosen a couple of key points to share with you this evening. A recent, very, very recent achievement for our school district is that our 2014 ACT average composite score was released to the public just a few weeks ago, and Whitefish Bay, as usual, was at the top of the charts. We were top in the state at 26.7 for our average score. It's the highest in the state, and we're also proud of the fact that 88.5% of our students participate. There are some districts which are a far lower percentage, but we have the vast majority of our students participating in that assessment. And we're the only school district in Wisconsin who has scored over 25 as an average for 16 years in a row. So it's quite an achievement, and certainly our high school students and staff are proud of that because this is a high school level assessment. But we also know this is the achievement, this is the results of all of the work all the way up through the school years. It's really our parents, our families, our staff from junior kindergarten all the way up who should take credit for it, and primarily our smart, hardworking students. Another accountability measure for academic success is the District Accountability Report Card, and this is put out by the Department of Public Instruction for every single public school and public school district in the state. This was from 2013-14 school, or 2012-13 school year, and our district report card had a scoring in the exceeds expectations. The 82.0 was our score. 83 to 100 is significantly exceeds expectations. So there, as a district, we were really high level. I believe there were only 6 or 7 school districts in the state that achieved significantly exceeds. A couple of our schools were in that highest category. And on September 16th, the 2013-14 school year report cards will be released, and we're quite sure we'll all be very pleased and proud once we can release those scores or those report cards to the public. And then speaking of accountability, there are many different state assessments that our students must take as public school students, and some of those assessments are changing. So just for you to know as the public what's involved, the Wisconsin Knowledge and Concepts exam will remain in place for science and social studies in 4th, 8th, and 10th grade. That's the state test, the WKCE, that we've been working with for many years. But portions of that test are disappearing, and in place of it will be smarter balanced assessments in reading, English, language arts, math in grades 3rd through 8th. And then new is the Aspire test for 9th and 10th graders. Aspire is linked to the ACT. So our 9th and 10th graders will take Aspire. 11th graders will all take the ACT. So where I was just talking about 88.5% of our students take the ACT, it will be 100%. Just like all across the state, it will be 100% of the 11th graders will be taking that test. And then finally, PALS is an early literacy assessment, a phonological awareness assessment for junior kindergarten through second graders. So a lot of state assessment changes coming our way. Within our district, we know that really good assessment helps drive instruction. We also know the state assessments typically don't drive instruction, but they give us benchmarks to look toward. We look for trends from those state assessments. We also realize a lot of time is used for assessing. So what we've been doing this year is making a concerted effort to look at all of the assessments that we have within our district compared to the state assessments, and if there's overlap, what can we reduce? So how can we reduce assessment time, still get great data on our students, but preserve time for actual instruction? The second main goal of our focus plan is about supportive environment and whole child development. So how are we doing there? In order to develop the whole child, we have to have them in school. And we have a very high attendance rate, 96.5% during last school year, which is one of the highest rates of attendance among the North Shore schools. Our students not only tend to be very high achieving academically, but they really participate in the full school experience. Middle school and high school students participate in academic, athletic, and arts-related co-curricular activities at a rate that's among the very highest in the North Shore school districts. And just a couple of athletic highlights to point out. Of 10 possible conference championships for girls, Whitefish Bay High School girls won 5 of those 10 championships, and our boys won 2 of 10 in the conference. Also looking at environment and whole child, a couple of years ago we began surveying our students in 2nd through 12th grade. This last school year we not only surveyed the students again, but we also surveyed our parents. Questions about school climate, satisfaction, learning, and just some of the high points that we learned from our surveys from this past year. 97% of our high school students report feeling respected by their teachers and other staff. 95% of middle school students agree that their teachers hold high expectations for them to do quality work. 98% of Cumberland students report that all other students are kind to them. And 99% of Richards students believe their teachers want them to do their best in school. So just one example of indicators that we have a really good, strong, supportive environment in our school. But these same surveys certainly did show some areas of, I guess, relative weakness, areas where we look to concentrate to improve. We know one of those areas happens to be around stress levels. And so how can we help our students and their families with stress? Our high school students self-report that they're causing themselves stress. And then I guess interestingly, our parents at the elementary level, if I'm remembering the percentage correctly, it was 61% of our elementary parents self-reported that they probably put too much pressure on their kids. So what does that mean? If our high schoolers are feeling stressed, our elementary parents feel like it's a stressful environment, what can we do all the way up through the years to relieve stress for our students? And one of the ways that we can support our students is through their environment. Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports, or PBIS, is really spreading across the country, and it's a systemic approach to proactive school-wide discipline. It's a way to have a positive learning environment. We know, just through experience and your gut tells you, in addition to research, that if kids feel like they're in a really safe, supportive environment, academically they'll perform better. PBIS includes evidence-based strategies for all students, and the results would include high academic performance, improved safety, decreased behavior problems, and enhanced positive school culture. And all of our Whitefish Bay faculty have been learning about PBIS and going through training, and every school is developing their own framework. We're using a Wisconsin model, but each school has the ability to tweak it, and so what does that look like for each school? For instance, an example off the top of my head is the middle school are developing their virtues. So there's 4, I'm looking at Amy Levick in the audience, I believe there's 4 main virtues that all of the kids are learning about. So kind of that character education tied into our schools. So because we do have high academic achievement, we really focus on the whole child, and that's been increasing, an extra focus lately for us. We have many recent successes to celebrate. I chose just one example from each school. There are many that could be shared. And as I quickly talk through these, see if in your mind you can distinguish which examples are academic in nature and which examples are either whole child or environmental in nature, because I tried to do a variety to show that we're working on both of those main goals. So at the high school level, 14 seniors were named National Merit Finalists. 3 of them were selected as U.S. Presidential Scholar semifinalists of just 9 across the state. So of 9 chosen across the state, 1/3 of them were from our high school. Quite an achievement. At the middle school, a courage retreat was added to the 7th and 8th grade experience that focused on building a positive school climate by teaching kids to act with courage and follow their hearts, even in the face of fear. And listening to some of the kids and reading some of the parent reactions about that retreat, it was just really heartwarming. I think it made a difference in a lot of kids' lives and their behaviors. At Richards, students, teachers, and parents and alumni joined forces to begin a running club to promote health, wellness, safety, and fun. And having been at the Run the Bay myself, I can tell you that running club made a really strong, impressive showing this year. And finally, at Cumberland Elementary, teachers in 18 different classrooms piloted the use of iPads sets to support and enhance student learning. And this vast learning will help assist professional development for our other teachers in just figuring out how can the latest technology enhance learning and instruction. District-wide, there were many things to celebrate. One of them was a new compensation structure being designed for teachers and was subsequently adopted by the school board. So we know that there's significantly less funding coming into school systems, public school systems in the state. And how do we balance reduced funding, maintain really good high-quality programming at class size, but also still attract and retain the best possible teachers that we can? And we did, it was a year worth of study, research, comparing to the private sector, comparing to other school districts, and we developed what we believe to be a really good model. The study involved representatives from the school board, teachers, administration. We utilized input from hundreds of stakeholders. We gathered data from numerous sources. And like I said, I believe we achieved the goal of attracting and retaining excellent teachers. We developed a fair and equitable model, and that model is financially responsible and sustainable to the district. An area of emphasis this past school year was also broadening district communications. So district e-newsletters were emailed to about 3,000 recipients on a monthly basis rather than twice a year that had been the norm. A district hard copy annual bulletin was mailed this summer in a more engaging format, which you might have received it at your household, and there were some out in the lobby area. A lot of work went into this, and we're really happy and thankful for all of the people that helped put this together. Unfortunately, I'll also admit there were about 3 or 4 typos or spelling errors, and you know how that drives you nuts as an educator, especially when at least 4 or 5 sets of eyes looked over every single page, but somehow between going back and forth with the publisher and I don't know, so I apologize, but it's a quiz. So it's a way to make sure that you read your bulletin, because see if you can find the 3 or 4 typos or spelling errors. We increased the use of surveys. Now our stakeholders, our community, our students, our parents, our staff, they're all important in the success of the school district. So we used surveys this year to obtain feedback related to technology, the district calendar, and school environment and satisfaction. And finally, just a couple of weeks ago, a district Facebook page was launched. So if you haven't gone there yet, look for Whitefish Bay School District. I think this evening, I want to say we had about 80 to 90 followers, or I think it was 96 people like us. Are you one of them yet? And finally, another district-wide thing to celebrate, I think, isn't just district-wide, but full community-wide. We have a partnership with our village of Whitefish Bay that I don't know if many people realize how it helps. So this intergovernmental partnership between the village and the district has been in place for a long time. It remains strong, and it actually saves you, the taxpayer, money. And I'll give a couple of examples. Simple ideas that really save. So for instance, the village orders most of their paper through the school district because we order in such bulk, it saves money. And so that savings helps the village. Between the village and the school district, there's pieces of machinery that we buy one and we'll share that piece of machinery. It's not used very often, and why should it sit in a garage at the village or sit here at the school district when it can be used for the same families, some of the same grounds? Lots of examples. The school district helps provide landscaping for some of the village parks. Great partnerships involved. And then finally, community partnerships in terms of donations. Just the past few years, significant donations from private citizens, our public education foundation, and PTO groups. So with very limited contributions from the actual school district budget, we've put in a new baseball field. Our softball field is being finished up here at the high school as we speak. Hundreds of iPads and other technology devices have been put in place. A high school library desk was donated by PTO funding, math and science engineering resources from Bay Ball funding, lots of partnership in the school districts with staff, with families, and that really ultimately helps our students. Which brings me to the last couple of slides, the vision for a future. We are all about students, so where I started with the focus plan, I end with the focus plan. It really is about what do we want for our students. And the vision for our school district is to empower students with the knowledge and skills and character necessary to thrive in a changing global society, respecting the diversity of our students and engaging them as individual learners in an innovative learning community, and addressing the needs of the whole child in a caring, inclusive environment. So this is what we're about. It's our vision. That's what we're working toward and what we will continue to work toward. And we look forward to partnering with you, our community, to do what's best for our students. Thank you.